Welcome everyone to another video on blockchain coding, and we will be coding in Solidity. We already saw an example where we created a sample bank with basic features. In the second video on coding, we will see few more advanced features and we'll try to deploy it from a Ropston network, and we'll use wallets while testing this smart contract. Let's move on. So I am Jitin Fernandez. I have 12 years of experience in IT industry. I am PMP certified IT project manager based out of Dubai. I am a blockchain enthusiast and as well as certified. As a prerequisite for this session, you should have coding background. You should know a little bit of coding. You should also go and check my videos, especially blockchain introduction and Bay of blockchain, that is Bitcoin and Ethereum of blockchain, to understand this session better. Let's move on. So this is the problem statement for our smart contract. So the first point says the property seller should be able to deploy a smart contract. However, the contract should be deployed only after MetaMask account is connected to Remix. What is MetaMask? How it will be connected to Remix, we'll be seeing shortly. The next one is only owner should be able to add property details, that is the property digital identity and selling price. Let's go ahead and create a smart contract. I will go ahead and launch Remix. So let me go ahead and create one file called as property transfer. As you can see, it will create a file with .sol extension. The first step towards creating a smart contract is by specifying the version under which we'll be working. So I'm saying I will be working between Solidity version 0.4.22 and 0.6.0. Okay, so that's the first step. Then we specify the contract name, transfer, and now we will go ahead and declare the actor. So firstly, we should have a variable to capture the seller. So we say address, and we mention payable because we will be having Ether transactions. So I say payable. I want it private, so private seller. Likewise, I would need a variable for capturing the buyer as well. So these are the two actors. Also, we would be capturing the digital identity of the property using a byte32 variable. So I'll call it as property code byte. Let me see. Bytes 32. My bad. Also, we would be capturing the selling price and the offer price. Now I'll be using a new variable. It is called as mapping variable. What it does is it links. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the property code, which is byte 32, to an address which will signify that this particular property is assigned to this owner. So we will call it as property owner. So here you go. We have all the variables in place. Now we will define a constructor. So if you remember, it said the property seller should be able to deploy a smart contract. So whoever deploys this smart contract is nothing but the seller. So I am going to instantiate that. So seller is the one who instantiated this smart contract. That's why message.sender. So we got to know who's the seller. Also, what we want is whenever some event happens, a notification should be made to the applications listening to it. So we will create an event saying an offer is made, and the parameter will include the address, who made the offer, and what is the price. Likewise, we will create one more event saying offer accepted by seller. It will just have whose offer the seller accepted. Now I'm going to take you through one additional feature which restricts who can call a particular function. We do it through a modifier keyword like this, where you say only buyer, and in this you put the condition. Whenever this modifier keyword is specified in a function, it will check for this condition. So here it says that message.sender should always be a buyer. If it is not, then you will mention this message. Only buyer can call this function. Okay. Then we put underscore and semicolon, which says whenever this modifier is used in any function, first execute this, and if it satisfies this, go ahead and execute the function here. Now let's write the basic function. First function was to add property details. So I'll have input parameters of byte 32, which is property code, and an integer which will give me the selling price. Okay, and it should be public, and I'm putting the keyword only buyer can call this function. Oops, sorry, it should be only seller, so my bad. So I'll modify it everywhere. In this function, we will just assign the private variables with the passed parameters. Now let's populate the mapping variable, that is property owner. The property code which is passed at present belongs to the seller. So we have mapped the property to the present owner. And let's set the selling price to the past parameter. Okay. So we have added the property details. Let's see what's the next ask. Buyer should be able to make an offer. Okay. So let us do that. Function make an offer. Public. Now, since there would be money involved, we will say payable, because buyer is making an offer. Now, if you see, we are not passing any parameters, but whenever a function is called in a smart contract, you have two parameters, message.sender and message.value. So the offer price is nothing but message.value, and the buyer is message.sender. So that the seller knows that an offer is made, we will emit offer made event by passing buyer has made an offer of this value. The next function should be able to accept an offer. So I'll go ahead and create accept offer, and the input parameter should be just the address of the buyer. Also, one more thing what we can do here is we can say only seller can go ahead and call this function. Now, since seller is accepting the offer, seller has to get the amount which buyer has made. So offer price, we will go ahead and move this to seller's account. We will change the property owner for this particular property to the buyer's address. Okay, and we will emit an event saying offer accepted by seller to buyer's address. There we go. So accept offer function is also in place. Next one is, at any point a function should be available to check the current owner. So it's just a very simple function. We will call it as check owner. If you remember, each function call is charged an amount in Ethereum world. So the moment you say view, it says no operation is performed. It just returns an existing variable. This is just to save little ether. So we will return property owner of this particular property. That's all. We are done. We will go ahead and compile this. It's throwing an error. So there's a parser error which is saying expected this. I didn't put this. Let's compile. So the compilation is done. Now let me take you through the Ropston network and MetaMask. So you get a Chrome extension called MetaMask. If you go ahead and install, you will have this wallet where you can trade ethers. And in this, there are various options. The moment you select Ropston test network, you can go ahead and integrate it with Remix. Let's see how we do it. The moment you select injected WB3, you can see there is one notification that came in Ropston network. It is saying, would you like to connect to Remix? I say yes. Okay. And the moment you do that, you see that the public address of that particular account. See 966. And if you see the address of this also, it's 966. And he has around 1.4 ethers. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll go ahead and deploy this smart contract. You can see the MetaMask notification came up. Now we are being charged this much gas to deploy a smart contract. I will say confirm, and you can see a notification here. If you click on this, you can go ahead and see the transaction of deploying a smart contract. It is showing pending here. As soon as it's done, the status will change. We got a notification saying confirm transaction. So if we go here, we can see that the smart contract is deployed. So if I click here, I can see all the operations. So let's go ahead and add property details. I've already created a digital identity for that particular property. I'll copy it here and I will say the value of this is 1 ether. So I'm going ahead and adding property details. This is the gas value for it. I'll go ahead and confirm it. So the property details are added. To make an offer, first I have to go ahead and create another account which has some ether in it. So I will go here. You can go ahead and create one account here. So there's already one account here, but with 0 ether. I will click on deposit and I will get test ethers from here. So I will request 1 ether from here. And once this transaction is completed, we will have ether in the account too. Currently it is 0. As you can see, now we have 1 ether in our account. Now we will just copy this address to clipboard, and if you see it ends with B533. We go back to Remix and we see that the buyer details ending with B33 is already here. We will make an offer for 0.9 ethers. Okay, and we will go ahead and call the function make an offer. So it's going to charge the buyer this much gas fee. So I go ahead and confirm, and it is going ahead and making an offer for 0.9 ethers. As you can see, that particular transaction is in pending status, and we just got a confirmation that it is completed and we have made an offer. What we will do is we will just check the owner. So current owner is 966, which is the seller. Let's go ahead and accept the offer which this particular buyer has made. I will just copy this address because I need this. I will go ahead and change the account to the seller one, and you can see that it will get reflected here. Okay, and I as a seller will go ahead and accept the offer. So the transaction has initiated. We can see that the transaction is completed. Okay, the offer is accepted. Let's go ahead and check the owner. So the owner is at present B33, which is nothing but the buyer. So the transaction has completed. We have made a a property transfer successfully using a smart contract. So that's an achievement. We have completed another Solidity sample with additional features, and we have used the Ropston test network using MetaMask wallet to make a property transaction. I hope you have learned a little more in development of smart contracts. We will have more interesting articles coming through. Stay tuned. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.